Why should we remember historical atrocities? Does it really matter? It does. Remembering is not just about acknowledging the past, it's about learning from it. Historical atrocities like the Holocaust serve as grim reminders of the depths of cruelty and hate humanity can plunge into. Remembering these events is not about dwelling on the past, but about ensuring we don't repeat it. It's about understanding the power of hate and prejudice and the devastating effects they can have when left unchecked. These memories serve as a guide, a warning, and a call to action for the future. They act as a compass, guiding our moral and ethical decisions. They remind us of the value of human life, the importance of dignity, and the necessity of justice. In a world where hate still exists, remembering these atrocities is more important than ever. Remembering the Holocaust, one of the darkest chapters in human history, is a solemn duty we all share. How did the tradition of Holocaust Memorial Day come about? This question takes us back to the early days of the 21st century. The very first Holocaust Memorial Day was held in January 2001, a day to reflect and remember the atrocities that took place during World War II under the Nazi regime. But why January? And why specifically the 27th? The answer lies in the chilling depths of history. The 27th of January marks the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest and most notorious Nazi concentration and extermination camp. This day serves as a stark reminder of the horrific crimes against humanity that were committed within those barbed wire fences, a place where millions of innocent lives were mercilessly extinguished. The Holocaust was a time when civilization stood on the precipice of a terrifying abyss. It was a time when prejudice and hatred were allowed to rule and ravage societies, tearing apart the very fabric of humanity. The unthinkable scale of this brutality led to the destruction of countless lives and left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. Holocaust Memorial Day, therefore, is not just a day of remembrance, but also a day of learning. It is an opportunity to reflect on the past, to remember the victims, and to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. It is a day to stand together against hatred and prejudice, to promote tolerance, and to strive for a safer, more peaceful world. Over the years, the significance of Holocaust Memorial Day has grown. It has evolved from a day of remembering the victims of the Holocaust to a day of remembering victims of all genocides, including those in Rwanda, Cambodia, Bosnia, and Darfur. This worldwide day of remembrance has gained recognition from international bodies as well. In 2005, the United Nations began formally commemorating the Holocaust on the 27th of January, further cementing the importance of this day in our global calendar. Since 2005, the United Nations has also been formally commemorating the Holocaust on this date. Oh, what was the Holocaust, you may ask? To put it plainly, the Holocaust was a state-sponsored mass murder that took place under Adolf Hitler's rule and the Nazi state. It remains one of the darkest chapters in human history, a chilling testament to the depths of human cruelty. The term Holocaust itself derives from the Greek word holocaustum, which translates to sacrifice by fire. This is a chillingly apt term given the devastating fires of the Nazi concentration and extermination camps that claimed millions of lives. The Holocaust began when Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933, but the most devastating years were between 1941 and 1945. In these 4 years, millions of people were systematically murdered in an operation of unparalleled scale and brutality. This was no spontaneous outburst of violence, but a meticulously planned and state-orchestrated campaign of mass murder. Hitler's regime created an intricate machinery of death, complete with bureaucratic systems, transportation networks, and concentration and extermination camps. The aim was to exterminate entire groups of people whom the Nazis deemed undesirable or inferior. The victims were predominantly Jews, who were targeted in Hitler's twisted vision of a pure Aryan race. However, they also included other groups such as Roma and Sinti people, disabled individuals, Polish civilians, Soviet prisoners of war, and gay people. The scale of the Holocaust is almost incomprehensible. 6 million Jews were murdered, which was two-thirds of the entire Jewish population in Europe. Millions more were killed from other groups, bringing the total death toll to a staggering 11 million. The Holocaust was not only a crime against specific groups of people, but a crime against humanity itself. It revealed the horrifying potential for evil that can arise when power is concentrated in the hands of a few, and when hate and prejudice are allowed to flourish unchecked. The Holocaust, a horrifying chapter in human history, saw the murder of millions. It is a reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink, but also a call to action for us all, to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. Who were the survivors of the Holocaust, you might ask? These were people who stared into the abyss of human cruelty and somehow managed to come out the other side. They are the living embodiments of resilience, courage, and the indomitable human spirit. They faced unimaginable horrors, saw the worst that humanity had to offer, and yet they survived. Survivors of the Holocaust found their salvation in a myriad of ways. Some clung to life in the grim confines of concentration camps, enduring brutalities that would break the strongest among us. Others eked out a precarious existence in ghettos, living day by day in fear and uncertainty. Some sought refuge in the shadows, hiding under false identities or in secret hideaways. And still others managed to escape, fleeing to countries like the Soviet Union and beyond, where they could live to tell their tale. Their stories, their testimonies are still being told today. Their voices echo through the annals of history, a haunting reminder of a past that we must never forget. These stories are etched into books, recorded on tape and shared in classrooms. They are recounted in museums, at memorials, and during annual commemorations. Their narratives are powerful, deeply personal, and often heartbreaking. Yet they also inspire hope, demonstrating the incredible strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. As time moves forward, we find ourselves in an era where the number of Holocaust survivors is dwindling. The torch of remembrance is being passed to us, to keep their memories alive, to ensure that their experiences are not forgotten, that their sacrifices were not in vain. These survivors' stories are not just tales of survival, they are lessons in empathy, in tolerance, and in humanity. They serve as a stark reminder of what can happen when hatred is allowed to flourish unchecked. They show us the depths to which humans can sink, but also the heights to which we can soar. The survivors' stories serve as a stark reminder of the human capacity for survival and resilience. They remind us that even in the darkest times, the human spirit can endure and overcome. Who were the victims of the Holocaust? It's a question that may seem straightforward, but the answer is far more complex than many realize. While the Holocaust is often associated primarily with the brutal extermination of 6 million Jews, the horrors of this genocide extended far beyond a single group. The Holocaust was not only a Jewish tragedy, but a human one, touching the lives of millions from various backgrounds. Among the victims were those deemed undesirable or threatening by the Nazi regime. This included disabled individuals who were among the first to be targeted for extermination under the guise of a euthanasia program. The Nazis believed in a perverse form of racial hygiene, seeking to rid society of those they viewed as genetically inferior. In addition to the disabled, the Roma and Sinti people, often pejoratively referred to as gypsies, were victims as well. They were subjected to widespread persecution and murder, with estimates suggesting that up to 500,000 Roma and Sinti people perished during this time. The Holocaust also saw the mass murder of Polish citizens and Soviet prisoners of war. These individuals were often used for forced labor and were subjected to the most inhumane conditions. Many died from sheer exhaustion, malnutrition, or disease. Lastly, we must remember the persecution of the LGBTQ+ community, particularly gay men who were targeted by the Nazis. Branded with the now reclaimed pink triangle, many were sent to concentration camps where they faced brutal treatment and death. The Holocaust saw the systematic extermination of millions from various minority groups. Each victim had a name, a story, and a life that was tragically cut short. Their collective memory serves as a stark reminder of the depths of human cruelty, but also of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. It is our responsibility to remember them, not just as victims, but as people whose existence mattered. What is the legacy of the Holocaust? A profound question that calls for reflection. The Holocaust has left an indelible mark on the canvas of human history. It has profoundly shaped the world we live in today, casting long and haunting shadows. The shockwaves sent across the globe by the atrocities of the Nazis necessitated changes in how we approach many aspects of life. Society was forced to confront the depths of cruelty that could arise from unchecked prejudice and hatred, leading to a greater emphasis on human rights, tolerance, and mutual respect. The Holocaust has also highlighted the importance of education and remembrance as tools in the fight against bigotry and discrimination. From the ashes of this devastation, the world has striven to learn and grow, to ensure that such horrors are never repeated. This is the legacy of the Holocaust, a stark reminder of the past, a guidepost for the present, and a warning for the future. The Holocaust has left an indelible mark on human history, a mark that serves as a reminder of the horrors that can arise from hatred and intolerance.